Hey, it's Jonathan Hutton from Outkick 360, joined by Armando Salguero from Outkick.com and Paul Kuharsky, co-host with me with Outkick 360. Both are Pro Football Hall of Fame selectors, here to react to Tom Brady and the report that he is going to retire after 22 seasons in the NFL and 7 Super Bowl championships. Armando, I'll start with you. You covered him throughout his entire career in that division with your coverage with the Miami Dolphins. Are you surprised we're seeing Brady step down this way and right now?
Well, Jonathan, let's back up a little bit, because I'm not surprised that Tom Brady is a little peeved that his imminent retirement story is out there. He has actually called the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and told them, I haven't made a decision yet, but I'm told that he has made a decision and that this is a way of him breaking it to the Buccaneers and to the rest of the NFL without having ESPN break it to everyone in the NFL. So assuming that he continues on the current path, regardless of his phone call to the Buccaneers, am I surprised? No, I mean, everything comes to an end, right? And obviously, what else is there for Tom Brady to do? Having said that, I wouldn't be surprised that 44-year-old Tom Brady retires. I wouldn't be surprised that 45-year-old Tom Brady decides to give it another go.
Paul, I know 46 was the number we kept talking about, and I'll run it back to 2019. You and I were there covering that game in the wild card matchup between the Titans and the Patriots. That version of Tom Brady, vastly different than the one that we saw over the final 2 seasons. I think that's why I'm the most surprised, and you and I have discussed that.
Well, what he said lately, last week, 10 days, 2 weeks, has certainly had a different tone than what he said throughout his career and in the last couple of years about, challenging 45 and 46 and testing the age limit and testing the age barrier. So that's why I'm surprised. I mean, the tone and the words lately have certainly sounded serious about family considerations and his wife's concerns and, the all-out focus it takes to play. I think a lot of guys think like that every January around the league. Not all of them are 44, and Tom Brady with his packed resume. But I do think, guys usually wait and feel differently oftentimes in March. Obviously, that's not the case for him. And the long range vision he had for maybe playing at 46 has changed. The family concerns have trumped the football legacy desires. And I'm never going to begrudge a guy for making his decision. Certainly, he has no room for regrets. Fandom will miss him because he was still playing at a very high level, like you said, and will be left to wonder. And now there's another team with a quarterback hole and not enough quarterbacks to go around, though we're seeing a lot of good young ones emerge.
Paul covered a lot of blowouts whenever the Titans would face the New England Patriots. And then recently the Titans had Brady's number with the Patriots. Armando, you covered him there as he would take on the Dolphins twice a year. When you're writing your book at the end of your career, is there a performance or a memory you'll take away and place in chapter 13 about Tom Brady?
Well, honestly, my fondest memory of Tom Brady was when I worked at ESPN, and it was in 2001. And he was now installed as the quarterback of the New England Patriots, not by plan, but by the sheer fact that Drew Bledsoe got knocked out of the lineup. And now the Patriots, all of a sudden, which had begun 0-2, were winning. And so ESPN sent me up there to do a sit down with Tom Brady, and he couldn't have been more engaged, interesting, more passionate about what was going on. At the end of that interview, I wished him luck. He said, thanks, we'll be fine. And then he said something to the effect of, this is not, this isn't going to change. We're going to be here for a while. 22 years later, he's still around until maybe today and possibly a little bit longer. The dude is a treasure. I don't think that we recognize that as much as we can. 15 years from now, people are going to be looking at Tom Brady the way the folks in the 70s and the 80s looked at Jim Brown, the greatest player of all time.
Paul, he leaves a league that's in good hands, though, at the quarterback position. For the GOAT to go out and have the number of young, talented quarterbacks across the league is something to say about the National Football League.
Yeah, and it wasn't long ago we thought there'd be a void and a vacuum post Brady, post Manning, post Roethlisberger, who retires the same year. But here we're just coming off seeing what rates as an all-time classic, Patrick Mahomes against Josh Allen, Kansas City edging the Bills, Joe Burrow's in a conference championship. A lot of talented quarterbacks, particularly in the AFC. Lamar Jackson's won an MVP. Justin Herbert, a lot of us think is going to be terrific. Trevor Lawrence had an awful first year, but nobody seems to have changed their stance on his potential to have a great career arc and be in the mix with those guys. It's hard to imagine the Jaguars being great, but it could come, and certainly his career could be good. So a lot of quarterbacks to keep our mind off what we're not going to be watching with the Buccaneers, but certainly going to be hard next season when this will become more real to realize he's not there to be drafted at your fantasy draft, not there to be featured on opening weekend, and not there to be part of the playoff field for the first time in forever.
In a way, it's a very interesting farewell season. If in fact, by the way, it would be epic Tom Brady to not be able to announce this on his own and come back for another year just to screw over all the reports that are out there today. But no, quite the farewell season when you consider he had the return to Foxborough in week 4, and then he had Man in the Arena that chronicled his entire career, and he goes out after going back to the postseason in defense of the Super Bowl that he won in year 1 with Tampa Bay. And I don't know what the records are, guys, for the Pro Football Hall of Fame selection day when you guys go through all the finalists. Like 7.5, maybe 8 hours? I'm probably a little short on that. But in 2027, it could be the fastest meeting ever, because 5 years from now, Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, Rob Gronkowski, and potentially even Adrian Peterson are eligible for the first time if all choose to retire, if Gronk and Peterson also decide to retire right now. That could be the fastest meeting in the history of the selection committee.
Done in time for brunch.
The only problem with that is, again, 44-year-old Tom Brady going one way. 45-year-old Tom Brady might go a different way. And the reason I say that, look, so he's headed towards retirement. He hasn't finalized it. It's not for sure, 100%. It's 99% there. He just delivered arguably his best season of all his seasons. He threw 43 touchdown passes, which is not his highest number. He had 50 in 2007. He threw for more yards than he ever had in a season this season at age 44. So if he does decide to hang it up, he goes out not on top because he's not wasting the Lombardi trophy, but pretty much on top of his game. Let's say that.
You're begging the question, Armando. So set the odds. Who's the team? Tom Brady will play for who in 2023?
Well, anybody he wants, baby. Right? So who knows? At this point, look, somebody already made a mistake the last time he was a free agent and wanted to go somewhere. I'm pretty sure that team was the San Francisco 49ers. Is someone else going to say no to Tom Brady if he tries to come back another time.
Hey, he's got a good friend coaching in Nashville, Tennessee, who can get out of Ryan Tannehill in a year for $18.8 million, who will still have a pretty good foundation of a roster. And they chose to sign Tannehill instead of pursue Tom Brady last chance. So there's one we could speculate about.
It's obviously always someone that's going to be in the hunt. We're talking about this like it's definitely happening, but
well, you've said.
Well, I mean, do you just remove the possibility that he might change his mind?
It's how he played. It's how he played this year. That leaves the possibility open for me. He's going out feeling and playing great. This isn't 2019. Back to my point. And he was fine then, but it wasn't this level. You know, I thought we were starting to see the dip.
And how many people that you know in life, not just, you know, athletes, but in life, they retire and then they decide this isn't quite what I was, you know, thinking it was going to be. This isn't as wonderful as everybody said. And they have second thoughts about retirement. Now, Tom Brady, despite the fact that he plays like, you know, Superman, he is human. So I don't dismiss the idea that he might rethink the whole thing.
It circles back to the beginning for me. That's why I'm surprised he's doing it. I think most guys talk themselves, you know, maybe feel it, but say, well, you know what? I have 2 or 3 years where I might still be able to do this. Yes, the family concerns are real, but in 3 years, I'll have no choice but to go that family direction. Sweetheart, give me those 2 or 3 more years, and I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you.
Armando Salguero's got you covered for all of the championship weekend matchups coming up on Sunday. You can read that at outkick.com, pregame, postgame coverage. And then we are back on Monday. Don't At Me with Dan Dockich, Monday morning on the Outkick Network. And then at 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Central, Outkick 360 with myself, PK, and Chad Withrow. Guys, appreciate it. I personally hate the news today that Brady is reportedly retiring because of the legacy that he leaves behind and just the way he's playing. It was a fun career, and great to be able to chat with you guys who will be able to put him in Canton if he stays out and stays retired, unlike Armando would be betting on. Appreciate you.
He cost me a damn hundo. Tune into Outkick 360 for more information on that too.
Hey, we're all going to be at the Super Bowl together for Outkick. I think winning this bet will allow me to get a couple of Ubers in Los Angeles now. So thank you, Armando.
I was thinking round of drinks.
Yeah, you can join us. We'll live tweet that. Follow Armando on Twitter at Armando Salguero. PK's at Paul Koharski NFL. Did I get that right, Paul?
Yes.
Paul Koharski NFL at Hutton Outkick. And check us out across the Outkick Network.